So welcome everyone to our very first virtual parent meeting. This is actually pretty exciting. We're learning new ways of being able to communicate and get things out to parents. So this is really just the start of some really fun things that are to come yet in the near future, and I'm super excited. I think it gives everyone a chance to come on and see what's going to be happening at the school. This actually, just so you know, will be recorded. It actually is being recorded right now. And so for parents that can't be here, or maybe you missed something and you're like, oh, I want to go back and listen to that part, you'll be able to do that. And it's going to be uploaded onto our YouTube channel, which we will be sending out invites to everyone to put up notifications for when new videos come up. The one thing that we decided to do, she knew how to do. So she has actually put all of it together, put the whole little recording and movie together of all the teachers in the NITO, toddler, and EC rooms, telling you tonight a bit about just the classroom and some expectations and some things that they do on a regular basis. And then how you actually can help them and how we can help you bringing Montessori to your home in a very easy way, and some things that you can start doing. And that is going to be pretty exciting. So the video goes, so like I said, it's pre-recorded, so you can watch the whole thing. The nice thing also is that even if you don't have, say, a child in the NITO classroom or a child in the early childhood classroom, and you listen to all of it tonight, you'll get to see this progression of how we go from a child that's in the NITO classroom and an infant through going before they go into the elementary classroom. And I think that's pretty exciting. And you're going to see some things and hear some things that are going to connect for you as you go through it. So wherever Amy's at, what you can do is through the video, you can actually get into the chat room, and you can, or into the chat, and you can ask questions as you go along. And then we'll be on there either answering those questions right then, and then we can also answer questions at the end. There'll be a time, and the teachers are on here, but it's going to be Miss Sarah, Miss Tammy, and Miss Mona that are going to be answering the questions for the different age groups tonight. So you'll have time to ask anything that you want. And it doesn't even have to be about the video. It's just if you have some questions. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Amy's going to be sharing her screen with the video. And like I said, we can't see you during that time. So, if you're eating or whatever, that's just fine. And we can't hear you. So enjoy, especially the very end. We got a cute little surprise for you that Pam put together, and we'll get going, Miss Amy.
All right, I hope it works, because I, of course, got home, turned my computer on, and it decides to update right then. And I'm like,
well, I can do it if you can't.
My husband pulled out his computer and got it set up for me. So let's hope this works. All right. I'm gonna get this bigger. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Miss Sarah. I'm one of the 3 directresses here at La Bella Vita Montessori School in the NITO room, alongside with Miss Pam.
Audio went out.
That doesn't necessarily mean independently walking, but taking steps along things is a great time to switch over. That way they can start walking into school, and we'll get to that later. Binkies, just as a side note, 5 months and only at nap, up to 5 months and only at nap. 12 months, we begin to say goodbye to the Binky as they transition to the floor bed from the crib. Our second topic, communication. How do we communicate with parents and each other? We use an app called Remind. When should you use Remind? To notify us when you're coming in late, staying home, or picking up early, or even if you just want to check in for the day. And we, teachers, check the Remind periodically throughout the day. The third thing, label everything. Clothes, shoes, bottles, bags, blankets, anything you send to school. Make sure there is a name on it. And name bubbles are a great thing to use. You can go to a website and you can have personalized name bubbles, and they stick onto plastic and clothing and don't wash off, but they peel off really easily. But they last a really long time, and really like them. Okay, next is our medication protocol. We have a medication form that needs to be filled out, and also a doctor's note needs to be faxed when it is over-the-counter medication like Tylenol or ibuprofen. With the date, name of the child, weight, medication name, and the dosage to be given. When it's a prescribed prescription from the doctor, the prescription on the bottle is the doctor's note, so we don't require a faxed form from the doctors. Our next topic is laundry protocol. Blankets, towels, crib sheets go home every Friday to be washed and brought back every Monday to be used for the week. Lunch portions, all food groups, making sure that you're sending enough food for your child. That's protein, grain, veggie, fruit, and we do serve dairy, cow's milk during lunch and breakfast. And I also have a good form here that has a list on here, and I can email that to you. Our next topic is independently walking into the school. So even before they can walk on their own, we should be walking them into the school, holding their hands and guiding them. That way they build that routine, and that way when they do start walking 100%, they know what comes next and where to go and what to do. Yeah, that's all I have. Okay, thank you, bye.
Hello, my name is Miss Riley, and I'm one of the NIDA directresses here at La Bella Vita. So today I'm talking about Montessori at the home. So what does following a child really mean? Each child is unique, and they have their own absorbent mind that makes them be creative and want to learn and understand and curiosity. And it's our job as adults to give them a safe environment to learn and to foster the communication and independence of discovery. So first we're going to talk about communication. Talking to your child, explain what you're doing. Hey, we're going to go get a bottle. So you go to their level and you say, here, would you like a bottle? When you change the diapers, like, would you like a diaper change? This helps them learn the language, and it gives them the consent that they need to trust you, and they feel like they're established and what their needs are too. A really great way to spread communication is when you go to the grocery store, say, oh, this is an apple, or, oh, we need toilet paper, and show them the toilet paper, and then put it in the basket, say, okay, we're gonna put it in the cart now. When you go to the park, or say, oh, well, let's go to the movie theater. Just let them know what you're doing, and when they are starting to learn that language, it'll be easier to get because they've already heard those words their whole life, and so then when they get those verbal skills, they can just easily move into that. One thing that we do at school all the time is sign language. So I'm going to give you a couple of sign languages to do at home. So we're going to start with more, the time so that they know what we're saying with a visual and hearing it, and they can also communicate that back to us. They usually do all done and please. It's usually please, but you can see those and they're like, oh, you would like some water, or you would like help with something. And so it also helps them feel heard too. So next we're going to talk about is independence. Children love to explore their environment, so we need to create an environment that they are not having to be told, no, don't get into that, oh, this is dangerous. Give them an environment that they can touch almost everything. So their room, they can get into the drawers down low that they can reach into, put their works or their toys in there, their clothes. Give them a drawer that they can pick out their own clothes, just 1 or 2 items that you're like, well, this is, they can wear this or this, I don't care, but they'll feel very independent. Let's see here. For the little ones, for independence, is you give them a mat on the floor so that they can explore their world around them. This will help them want to roll over faster because they want to reach that. What is that over there? So it really helps them wanting to move and get their legs moving, and they're not constricted in a boppy or a swing. Let's see here. So we need to give them the ability to be independent. So we give them access to things that they need to use every day. So you should have a towel drawer down low so that when you say, oh, go get a towel, they know exactly where to go, and they will grab their towel so they can clean up their spill, and then a laundry basket so they can put their laundry in. It doesn't have to be filled with 50 towels, just 1 or 2, because that's what we will need throughout the day. And then it won't be a big mess. And then you also can work together to put it back in the laundry basket if they do happen to get it all out. And that's just fine. They're learning. The next thing I want to talk about is plan time for discovery. A lot of times we are go, go, go. We always have things to do. We need to go to this appointment. We need to see this person. And then if you want to give your child independence, but you're like, oh, you're taking too long to put your shoes on. Well, add in that time. Wake up a little bit earlier, change something out so that they have time to discover, to take their shoe on and off 4 times, because they will do that. Or for them to pick out their own clothes, or to walk down the stairs to the car on their own. It really gives them the sense that they really belong to the family. And so then also we give them time to feed themselves. It will be messy. They'll have food in their hair all the way down to their toes. But babies are washable. All kids are washable. And they will learn those skills and they'll get better and better. And then you will feel pride in yourself seeing your child get better and better as they go on. In our classroom at 7 months, we start using a cup. It's just a tiny little, well, shot glass, but it's the perfect size for them to be able to reach their hands around. And we have a spoon, and we get a tiny little drop of water and just put it right to their lips so that they can feel the sensation. It's just to get them ready as we keep moving on to where they can do it on their own. Something that's really fun that we like to do in the classroom is allow them to help us do our chores. So when we get laundry and we have to fold them all up, we have them hand us the laundry, and then we fold it up, and then they give us the next one, and the smile they have on their face, so they look up and they hand you that, is the best thing in the world. So they can also put laundry in the washer. They can help clean up spills. If they spill something, like, uh-oh, let's go get a towel, and we're going to use 2 hands and wash the table. And they can also help with gathering toys, like, oh, let's pick up all our toys before we go to bed. And getting them those tools at an early age will help them. It will be second nature when they get older, and so you won't have to fight with them as much. So I wanted to talk to you guys about mealtime. Mealtime is a big part of our day because we do it 3 times. So we all sit at the table. They have their own chairs that they can sit at. They have dishes, they have their cup, and they have a plate, and they have a fork and spoon that they can use. And we use real forks and spoons. They're just child size. And forks are actually easier for them because they can stab it, and spoons tend to tilt a little bit and they don't have that straightness, so the forks are easier to stab. Then we do our prayer, and this we came up with this prayer with breathing so that they can learn to take a moment and bring oxygen into our lungs. And I've also found later on when they're having a moment where they are just so upset that I can show them I'm breathing, and then they learn to calm down because I've already given them that tool. So I'm going to do the prayer with you guys. We're going to put our hands up and together. Breathe in and out. In deep, out slow, in calm, out peace. Oh, the earth is good to me, and so I thank the earth for giving me the things I need, the rain and the sun and the apple seed. The earth is good to me and you. And then we ask the children, would you like your lunch? And they usually go, please. Or we help them say please, and then they have their lunch and they can enjoy their meal. When they're sitting at the table, we try to keep them sitting as much as possible so that they can learn that this is mealtime and we're eating. When they get up and move around, it gets food everywhere. And they also don't have that structure of sitting nicely at the table with everyone. And we all sit together as a family. That's a couple of things that you guys can do at home with your kids. And it'll help bridge the gap between Montessori here at school and Montessori at home. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I am Miss Allie. I'm the lead toddler directress of Toddler One. I just wanted to take a second to talk about our Montessori Back to Basics as well as our Montessori Coat Flip. So a couple of things that we wanted to talk about and discuss is how we would like everyone to be here by 8:30, 8:40 the latest, so we can start our day on time. In the toddler classroom, we go straight into snack in the morning, and then we go straight into being outside. And so it's very important that you are here on time so your child can have that morning snack as well as be able to enjoy the outside time. A couple other points that we wanted to talk about is our independence with our toddlers. We want them to be able to be as independent as possible, and we want to start that from the moment that you get to school. So we really want to work on allowing your child to walk into the building on their own, as well as trying to carry those backpacks and those lunch boxes. Now we understand that you are carrying a lot of things in from the car, so it might be a little bit heavy, so they will probably need that help, but we do want to encourage them to be as independent as possible. This is also going for when they are leaving the school to go into home. As much as you would like them to run into your arms and to pick them up, we would really hope to encourage them to be walked to the car by themselves. A couple of things we want to iterate is that please make sure that you are labeling everything as well as socks. I shouldn't say all, but a lot of our items are getting misplaced because we don't have names on them, and when we ask the toddlers, they're like, that's Allie's, and really it was not. So please make sure that even down to your socks that you are labeling their names, whether it's initials or name bubbles, whatever, just please make sure that you have their name on it. So thank you. With the colder weather coming, we do want to ask that you make sure that every day that you bring a coat or a jacket, hats, and mittens, as we do go outside. Even in the wintertime, when it's very cold, we'll spend more time getting ready to go outside than actually being outside, but please make sure that you are bringing all the appropriate items for us to go outside every day. A couple other things that we want to talk about is please do not bring in any toys or any binkies. When other toddlers and other children see those things, then they want to play with them and they want to explore with them, and then that's when we're having some tips between some toddlers. So it would be very helpful if we can leave all toys and all binkies in the car for us. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, this is Miss Allie again. I am here to show you how we do the Montessori coat flip. So in the toddlers, again, we want to promote that independence. So with the coat flip, we are always going to make sure that the tag is at their toes. That's what we always tell them is tag at the toes. They're going to put their hands into the pocket. Pick up the jacket. And flip it over. And that is how the toddlers putting on their coats independently. Bye. I'm Mrs. Tina. I'm one of the directresses in the toddler 2 classroom. And I'm here to talk about lunches and how to make the most of the learning opportunities at mealtimes at home. To start, I would recommend parents consider the accessibility of their child's dishware. For instance, if you have their dishes up in a higher cabinet, I would consider maybe reorganizing the kitchen, bringing their items, any cups they use, any silverware, any plates, down to a lower cabinet that they can reach and that they can get to themselves. That way they can help to set their own place at a table for dinner time or any other meal times that they have at home. Then it gives them more independence so that they can do it themselves. And then it also helps to give that consistency, since that is a skill that we do in our classroom here at school too. And then with utensils, start them young. In the infant room, it's helpful to, even if you're spoon feeding them, give them a spoon to hold themselves. That way they can get the idea of holding the utensil and then using it themselves. If they want to scoop it into their food in the infant room, let them scoop it into their food and into their mouth. That way, by the time they are in the toddler room, they have that skill of, this is a spoon, this is how I use the spoon, and a little bit less of using the fingers for oatmeal and things like that. We use small pitchers at school too for pouring milk. So if you want to order a pitcher, there's usually a small hands catalog that you can order Montessori items from and other helpful materials. With sending lunch boxes and containers to school, it's usually a good idea to make sure that your child knows how to use those containers. For the most part, if it's something that they can't quite get yet, we will help them open it, but it's never a bad idea to let them practice at home so that they can manage to open the container without also spilling their food on the floor, because obviously we want them to still be able to eat their lunches at school. So practice at home is always helpful, and it just provides more consistency between home and school of this is how we do it at school, and this is also how we do it at home. If you are interested in implementing our peace and prayer aspect of our meal times, we have a video on our Facebook that shows how to do the process of practicing silence for a moment, taking deep breaths, and then singing our prayer. Do it at every mealtime, every snack, every lunch, and it will also help them to learn that routine if you do it at home, but obviously it's optional to do it at home. Bye.
Hi, I'm Miss Tammy, and I'm one of the toddler directresses in Toddler 2. And I'm here to talk to you just a little bit about toileting and preparation for toilet learning. That's a big part of the toddler age. And so some of the things that we do, even when the children first come into the classroom, is to work with them on just some basic things in preparation for what they're going to do later as they get older with toileting. Some of those things might include like naming, just casual talk, conversation as you're changing their diaper. Let it be a natural bonding time where you just spend extra time talking to them about things like their body parts, the names of their articles of clothing, teaching them these are my pants, this is my shirt. These are my socks, things like that. The words to use for their bodily functions, if they have a bowel movement or when they're urinating, give them the names for those things. And also just things that are in the bathroom environment, labeling things like the sink, the towel, showing them where things are at. Those are all great things to prepare them for learning about the environment and things that they're going to need to know later as they work with toileting. Some other things that are very helpful to make this process go smoother are just exposure to things in the bathroom, learning where things are, how they work, and what they're used for, so that when they're washing their hands, they know this is called the faucet, these are the handles, just little things like that to help them get acclimated to that environment. Another important part of toileting is just being able to observe, whether it be older siblings, younger siblings, cousins, or even mom and dad, using the toilet, learning how to wash their hands by example and things like that. Another important step is to set up the environment to encourage independence. So just little things that you can do, like adding a step stool so that the child can independently step up to the sink on his or her own to wash their hands, a towel that's in reach, like soap that they can reach, and easily to get when they're ready to wash and dry their hands. Another important thing that's very helpful is just to break down the steps. A lot of times we take things for granted that they'll already know. We just say simply wash your hands, where it's really important at this age to break those steps down of what that process involves, because there's lots of steps involved in what seems like a simple task to us. So breaking that down, like first they step up to the stool, next they learn how to grasp the handle, then they learn how to turn the water on, and how to get the temperature to the right temperature as they're turning a little bit of cold on, a little bit of hot on to make it warm. So there's lots of little steps like that that we don't always think about that are important parts in helping them understand what the process is and how it works. Another thing that's very helpful that we can do is encourage the child to assist, also by breaking down the steps. Initially, a younger child is going to just assist by cooperating while you move their arm or their leg to put their shirt on, allowing the shirt to go over their head, and little things like that that they'll assist with by maybe stretching out their arm or their leg, so that you can get their leg through the leg hole or things like that. You can have them assist by getting their own diaper, having it in a place where they can reach, or if that's not possible in your environment, you can hand them the diaper so that they get used to what's going to happen and what they're going to be doing. Those are all visual and tactile clues to help them understand what you're doing, all the while giving them names for what you're handing them and what they're going to be doing. They can assist by pulling their own diaper tabs. If they can't pull it on their own, you can get it started and let them help, or you can do hand over hand and let them assist. Those are just some little ways to involve them in the toileting process. You can also roll the diaper and then let the child put it in the diaper pail on their own. That way they're a part of their, becoming a part of their self-help skills. You can also encourage them to do self-help with dressing skills. You're going to do it at their own level where they're ready at. So you might, if they're putting on socks, for example, you might gather it up and put it over their toes, and let the child pull it up towards their foot. You might have to break that down and help them a little bit to get them over the next step, until finally it's pulled up onto their foot. Another thing that's really important is to do it in a respectful way, instead of just quickly changing their diaper. You're going to talk to the child about what you're doing before you even do it, so that they're prepared and you're not just rapidly changing their diaper, but you make it a bonding time. You do it in a slow, careful way so that they can really observe what you're doing, and be a part of the process. As they get further into the toileting process, you're going to start to notice some what we call readiness signs, where you see the child becoming interested in using the toilet, where they might just be, you might notice them looking at the toilet, you might observe them watching other children that are using it or other adults that are using it. But you can see a curiosity where they might go and investigate the toilet. They might check out the handle to flush it, or explore with the toilet paper. Just observing and checking out the different aspects that they see other children or parents using. Some other signs of readiness include recognizing when they're wet or soiled, where they might, even if they're not able to verbally do that yet, you might see that they go and get their own diaper and maybe hand it to you, or they might walk towards the changing table. Little things like that that you can tell that they're showing interest and more signs of awareness. You might also notice that they're staying dry for longer periods of time, or maybe that they have a predictable bowel movement times or times that they usually need to urinate. A child might ask you or indicate to you that they need changed by handing you a diaper, or again, approaching the changing table, or maybe even walking over to the toilet. Or they might even have some basic language skills where they might use some signs or some simple words like pee or poop to indicate that they're uncomfortable, that they would like to be changed. Another signs of readiness are children are physically capable of assisting or taking more responsibility by pulling their pants up and down. They're able to remove their own diaper without a lot of assistance. And they're also able to follow oral directions, and are capable of getting up and down on the toilet on their own. Some things, just some simple preparations, because it is a process, just to prepare yourself as the adult as well as your child for the process. You can begin changing your child standing up. Ideally, you'll have a mirror so that they can see when they're pulling their tab, when they can see you pulling up their pants up and down, and they can find their waistband and things like that, or find their tabs on their own in the mirror. Those are great ways to take that process to the next step. Also, during that time, it's important to show the child when they begin practicing, to show them how much toilet paper to use, show them how to wipe properly, how to flush the toilet, how to pull their pants up and wash their hands, so that they learn there's a methodical process so they know the order that they need to do it in, so that they get all the steps in. Some things initially that are helpful, you might introduce some books or songs about toileting, that will help get them excited about it. A fun trip to the store to get brand new undies, with fun pictures and things like that on them. Some other general things that's important to know, it's just, it takes a lot of patience because you're going to notice some regression sometimes. You might, it's easy to get frustrated sometimes, but just to be patient with your child. Remember, that's a brand new experience for them. Just take it slow. Don't worry if they have an accident. That's part of the process of learning. And so it's important to be as patient as possible and realize that they're taking in a lot of information at the same time and trying to remember a lot of things to be successful at it. It's important that accidents are handled as a matter of fact. Don't be too over the top in your reaction to it, but it's just a part of the process. Show them where towels are, help them be a part of the cleanup process, help them wipe the floor and things like that when they have an accident. Show them where the soiled or wet clothing goes. And it's best if you have a basket or a drawer, things like that, where they know where to get a new pair of underwear or pants when they need changed. At school, we focus on what we call intrinsic motivation, so we don't use a lot of stickers or things like that because we want that achievement, that pride that comes from mastering the process to come from within them. So just simple, low-key things like a high five or things like that are just fun ways to celebrate their success, but not over the top, so that they get that inner pride from the accomplishment that they're making. At school, we don't use pull-ups. Once they're ready to make that step, we just go straight to underwear. That way the child can feel when they're wet more easily, when they've had a bowel movement, and it doesn't, the pull-ups tend to pull that wetness away from their skin, and so you'll find that it goes a lot easier if you go straight to underwear where they can actually feel the discomfort of being wet or having a bowel movement in their underwear. At school, what we do is we keep in close contact with one another, keeping each other updated on progress that they're making at home as well as at school. And periodically touch each other, and we feel like you at home as well as at school are ready to take that nap, that we pick a weekend where kind of a weekend. Remind them to go back at regular intervals and things like that to use the bathroom. where it can really be focused on at home. And then that following Monday, we'll have you bring lots of extra underwear, extra pants, shoes that can be cleaned up, and then we'll start right in on Monday, fresh from the weekend, and continue that progress at school. It's also important to let other relatives or caregivers of your child also understand the process that you're working with, so that they can, so that each person involved can work together to help make it a successful and positive experience for your child. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Moni Gutierrez, and I am the Early Childhood Directress here at Bella Vita. So one of the most important things about the early childhood environment is independence, and we strive for independence as much as possible. So for instance, at home, a lot of times you would not usually give a 3-year-old a glider to carry around, but here we do. And because of that, because we trust them to do those things, they feel more confident once they know that we believe in them, and we show them how to carry it. And we have a tray, and they use 2 hands, and they very carefully take it to the table. And they know that because we believe in them, that they can do it too. And that's a huge part of the early childhood environment. And all of the lessons have some form of either self-correction or some form of building the independence. So for instance, if a child is counting out beads from 1 to 10, and he gets to 10 and there's not enough, that means he needs to go back and see where he can go back and correct himself. Maybe he put 5 counters in the 4 area. So he has to go back and find it. So it's problem solving, it's self-correction, and building patience and all of those things. There's so many lessons behind the original lesson. Other things that we do are building community. And with that, you might see a child frustrated that he can't figure out where that 10th bead is. So an older child might come over and say, "Can I help you?" And they can say, "Yes, please," or "No, thank you." And they can get together and help. Building community, we also help them, teach them how to straighten the shelves or push in their chairs, helping clean up after themselves and get the lesson ready for the next friend. So all of those things we talk about being a community, and we explain it, that it's like a little family, and that we take care of each other and we help each other out. And that's really important to me personally, that they learn compassion and they learn empathy and sympathy and how to do that with each other. That's super important. We teach grace and courtesy, which is basically manners. And that also goes in part with the community and the independence in learning how to introduce yourself and welcome a new child into the classroom, or again, saying please and thank you, or can I sit with you, or can I help? And the children being able to say yes, please, or no, thank you, and how to take it if someone says no, thank you to you. That you know, their little hearts can be tender sometimes, and it's hard to take a no from a friend they really want to work with. So we try to talk about how not to take it personally, but that's okay if somebody says no, thank you. Let's see. Nutrition is also super important in this age. as well as sleep habits and screen time. Please do your best to limit the screen time, especially before bedtime. I would say 45 minutes to an hour before bedtime, turn off the screens. That the blue light from our phones and tablets and the TVs activate the brain and it lasts for at least an hour. And so even though that it's dark and you've read your stories and did your bedtime routine, the brain is still active and it still keeps them up. So please consider that with the bedtime routine to turn off the screens early. Nutrition, we ask that you provide balanced lunches so that will match with our priorities in providing balanced snacks as well. We usually have a 2-part snack, whether it's a grain and a dairy or protein, or fruit and a grain or something like that, but we always have it balanced. And the food that we use is organic and fresh. So we ask that you partner with us with your lunches also providing the same guidelines. And please avoid sending any kind of chocolate or candy or things like that if you can. That's really important. In my classroom, most of the time, I will tell the children to save that for when you go home. So just be aware of that. That's what happens. I guess next would be, how can you do this? How can you do some of these things at home? The Montessori philosophy at home. And independence is a big thing. You might find that your child wants to do a lot of things for themselves. They might want to pick out their clothes or pour their own milk. And, that's, hands off, they're going to make a big mess. And they will. They'll make a mess at first, but if you let them practice or show them how, you can even get smaller pitchers, little creamer pitchers at the dollar store or Target or somewhere, and just let them practice with a little bit of milk and start there. They don't have to hold the whole jug or anything, but something child-sized that they can do. You can help them practice opening their lunch boxes or the containers. That's always helpful, and they love to be able to pop them open and show us, I did it. And that's my favorite phrase to hear in the classroom is, I did it. We get to celebrate with them, and that brings a lot of joy to the classroom. Letting them get dressed on their own, that takes patience on the parent side. That takes planning too, especially in the morning when we're trying to go, get breakfast, brush your teeth, get dressed. You can help them plan ahead of time. You can wear this or this tomorrow, and let them get a choice if you want to do that, and then give them the time to change their clothes on their own. Socks are always going to be a hard thing. Roll them up and put it on their toes first and let them pull it the rest of the way. There's little ways that you can make shortcuts, but that also frees up time for you to do things and, give them little responsibilities. Okay, Johnny's in charge of setting the table and Susie's in charge of turning off the lights at night. There's little things they can do around the house to help them contribute to the community, which is one thing that they do at school, and contribute to the family, and also feel independent and feel good about themselves, that they feel proud. I can do this. And that's what we want for them. We want them to feel big and that they're growing. And you can also provide opportunities to point out, remember when this was hard for you and now it's so easy, and let's try this new thing. Remember when you could fold little towels, now let's try and fold a big towel. And I like to tell them, it's so fun to tell them, remember when you were little and you couldn't fold this towel, and now you're so big and you can do it now. And it's another way to celebrate and bring joy into their lives that they can remember. And that's again another way, another teaching opportunity with identifying emotions. You used to get so frustrated trying to fold that little towel, and now look, it's easy. You know, so there's so many learning opportunities in our world, and that's one of the things that we try to do is turn everything into a learning opportunity. So when they're new, saying goodbye is one of the hardest parts, both for parents and for children. The best thing, as hard as it is to do a quick goodbye, and you can warn them or get them used to it in the car and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to walk in the door. The teacher's going to take your temperature. You're going to give me a big hug and a kiss, and you're going to go in the classroom, and I'm going to go to work. And let them know what the procedure is so that they can hear it and they can be prepared. There still might be some tears sometimes because making it a reality, you know, is something different. But the shorter the drop off, the easier it is for them to come in and get their school day started and just warm up to the day. So I would strongly recommend is, you know, quick as you can with enough love and tenderness that they need, but also so they can get started with their day. All right, so a few classroom reminders. Please, please, please bring your children at least by 8:30, 8:40 at the very latest. That gives them some time to put their things away, say hello to their friends, and get settled in for the day. We start circle at 9, and then that's a good community building time for us. We sing songs, we do the calendar, we do a lesson for the day. It might be a special art project, and or for instance, we did a lesson on fractions with an apple, and then we did an art project with the apple. So you really don't want to miss out on those types of things for the children to be able to participate in the lesson that we're providing and discuss it and really give them a time to work with each other and build that sense of community and also set them up for a successful day. It's really, really important that they're here on time. Some other things, please remember, even though it's cold weather outside, we still need you to bring water bottles every day. And blankets, make sure they go home to be washed every day, water bottles and blankets. And now that the colder weather is coming, make sure if you want to just bring some warm clothes, the extra change of clothes for them, and we can bag up the short sleeves and shorts and stuff and send them home with you. That would be great. We need to do that soon as we've been in lots of cold and rain and stuff already. Let me think. So for the rest of the year, like September, we're talking about fruits, and we're having an emphasis on apples and doing different activities like apple prints and apple tasting, and we'll do a graph on what color apple the children like the best after they taste them. October, we'll be talking about seasons, especially fall and leaves. We'll be doing leaf printing. November, we'll talk about the harvest and the Thanksgiving story and Native Americans. And December is always fun because we talk about holidays around the world, and that's a very special time. So I hope you feel at home in our early childhood environment. That's a big thing for me, for the parents to also feel like we are a family. And you can contact me anytime, email or the remind message, or if we really need to, we can set up a conference or a phone call. So please feel free to contact me with any concerns.
This is called behind the scenes.
It'll be just fine. So whenever you're ready.
Is it on?
Yep.
Okay.
You recording? I don't.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm so nervous.
Am I recording right now?
I get. It's okay. I like this shot better, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you do, Amy.
Sorry, don't get things done. The good thing you go first. Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Directresses, can you start over?
Yep.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah.
Hi. Sorry, there was like something in my eye.
Sign and out drive.
Being part of the classroom. Quick drop off sign next. Bless you. I'm gonna start that one. Yeah. Just let me Google it.
Do I need to start all the way from the beginning?
Yes.
Alrighty. Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Miss
oh,
Sarah.
geez.
I'm one of the 3 directors.
Go ahead, Amy.
Okay, no, sorry. On my end, the video started again. I was like, ah. Okay, sorry. Thank you all for joining us for that lovely video put together by Miss Pam. Hope you enjoyed the little funny scenes at the end.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say more.
No, sorry.
That's all right. Does anyone have any questions? Or I like the comments that people were putting in. I was trying to kind of focus a few little questions out there and see what people thought. You could just unmute yourself if you have a question and just blurt it out. Nobody? I mean, we give great information. I understand that. There's not a lot of room for questions. One of the things I know Amy had mentioned about bringing up, and Tina had actually mentioned it in her video, was small hands catalogs. If you've been with us before, you know that each year we just hand out the Montessori Services small hands catalogs, and there's no pressure. We don't really do fundraising per se, but this is a way. If you find that you want to do some Christmas presents or presents for other people, things like that, or just want some Montessori things in your home, it's a great time to order, and we get like a small fraction of a little bit of money back. And that helps us to buy a few items in the year for the teachers that they would like. The teachers will also be putting up a wish list for their classrooms. And if anyone feels inclined to help out a classroom, that would be great. If not, it's not, obviously that you have to, but it's out there. What else, Amy?
Also, I think you may have said it earlier, that the whole meeting was recorded, and we will be sending a link out via YouTube. You feel free to share it with family or grandparents, friends, maybe other parents that did not get to come tonight. Also, I see one family, thank you, Hannah, for asking about the best way to label things. I know Sarah and Allie both had commented about name bubbles. And you can just find those at namebubbles.com. I would highly recommend their little, I think they're called clothing labels, and they're really small circle ones. That way they can kind of fit on everything. A good recommendation is, especially if you're just have a baby, just get your last name. Because then if you have more children down the road, then you can use them. They will literally stay on bottles for like years if you let them. You can put them on your Tupperware, your CDs, your toys, when you send in Workshare or Show and Tell. I put mine on everything. I've got them on my water bottles, so they're really great. So namebubbles.com. Somebody Kim asked about if we're still doing box tops. Yes, we are still collecting box tops. There's a box downstairs on the bookshelf right outside of the EC classroom. And somebody had also asked about a best way to label socks. Honestly, from what I've seen, permanent marker is the best way, because the name bubbles really don't stay on the socks because they just get too crumpled up. So unfortunately, permanent marker is still the best way to do socks.
Can you pull the sock inside out though, and then do it on the inside?
Sure.
So it doesn't like.
Yeah, it's not like all over the place. Or maybe you just have like those few pairs of socks that, you know, those are the school socks that you have them wear to school. A little trick that I learned from somebody a long time ago and that I did with my children too is with socks, getting one of those garment bags, one of the small zipper garment bags. And as soon as you take your socks off your kiddos or they take them off, they put them right in this garment bag. That way you don't ever lose them because somehow they always disappear right in the dryer because the dryer eats them or they get stuck in somebody else's clothes. So if you use a little garment bag, zip them in there. That way you keep all your pairs of socks together, and you could always have just like a school set that are very clearly labeled with, you know, Chris right on the bottom of the sock. And those just get worn to school. But yeah, you could roll them on the inside and put them on the inside. There's a chance that the permanent marker could obviously bleed through. And, you know, if you have blue or black socks, that gets kind of tricky. Or just, if you don't mind if a sock goes missing, then, you know, that might happen too.
Anybody thought of any other questions? Not even one?
Sasha, we can't hear you.
Hear me
Now we can hear you.
now?
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I don't really have a question, but I wanted to say I'm just so impressed with the way you've handled everything through the pandemic and how you've, you know, kept us parents informed and how great you've been to the kids. And I just wanted to say I'm very impressed and I thank you very much for that.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that a lot.
Very impressed.
So
So
thank you so much. Everyone is really, yeah, definitely trying hard.
Let's see. Kim, can you give me a little more explanation? You're asking about a trunk or treat.
Hey, so it was occurring to me semi-recently that Halloween is going to be looking a little bit different, kind of just for everyone. And I know in the past, schools have offered trunk or treat, not La Bella Vita specifically, but just public schools have offered trunk or treat as an option for their student body. And I was wondering if that might be something that could be fun for the kids to do that wouldn't require them to go door to door. I don't know, just a thought.
Is that like something that's outside?
Yeah, people bring in their cars, they open their trunks, they decorate their cars,
Okay.
and there's candy or whatever they want to give out is inside the trunk. So people just kind of walk around to the cars and do the trick or treating, and instead of sometimes going door to door and all of that.
It's an idea to think about.
That is, I mean, we've already figured out everything that we're doing. Every 90 days, actually, Amy and I sit down and figure out our next 90 days of what's going to happen. And so we have planned out at the school for what Halloween will look like within the school, because that will be different. We'll be getting it out to you. But that is an interesting idea. I'm wondering if any, you know, parents too would be wanting to assist with that too, because that does take a little bit.
Sure.
Definitely we'll think about that.
My name is Asher Conover, and I just wanted to say that I loved going to a Bella Vita school.
Asher, we love you so much.
It's aloe leaf.
And that is aloe vera.
I'm cutting it. And I might bring some aloe to school. Yeah,
That
keep
would
on
be great.
my science show.
Excellent. I didn't get to see you today, Asher, and I missed you.
I missed you too, Miss Sharon. I some aloe.
That was so cute.
I know, he just makes me giggle. All right, well, then we'll go ahead and say goodnight. We've kept you for 1 hour and 7 minutes. So, but at any time you guys have questions, please just reach out to your teachers. They're more than happy to give you any answers that you want and help you with anything, whether that's at home or at school. We absolutely love those kinds of questions and want to help you. So thanks for coming on. Amy will be getting out a message to every parent to let them know how to sign up and look for notifications on our new YouTube channel. And you'll be seeing a lot more things on there. So I think you'll be really excited about it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us and all the support you give us all. Have a great night, everyone.